I'm not where I want to be, but I'm in what was once a dream. So if I do some quick math, the future equals a dream come true. Since 1992, In All Honesty, a podcast by OLAVEORAWO.
Hello, hi, how you doing? Welcome to another episode of the In All Honesty podcast. My fabulous name is OLAVEORAWO, and we are recording this episode at the Trio Media Studios in Lavington, Nairobi, Kenya. And as I have told you before, please come over to this space. It's a very beautiful, cozy space, and it's very friendly to your pocket. So this is a space that you would love to create your content in. And today on this podcast, I have two familiar faces. Karibuni.
Thank you.
Thank you for showing up again.
Asante.
As I've told people, I don't offer anything. So if people are willing to come more than once, it is more than... in fact, resident host. Karibu sana. Thank you so much for coming. Today we are discussing firstborns, the life of a firstborn, assistant parents, basically that experience, how the experience is even right now, how it affected our lives. But we can get with introductions. If you've never been here, you don't know these two people, welcome. If you've been here before and you don't know these two people, I don't know. But yeah, you can start by introducing yourselves, how you'd like to be known.
Thank you, Olive. Thank you for having me back. My name is Morioke Kiai, or Climax with Ciru. I'm happy to be back. Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Hi everyone. It's giving welcome to my channel. My name is Agnes and I am a music executive and a meme peddler. Yeah. And I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for inviting me once again.
And thank you for co-hosting 3 shows now. As usual, we have responses that come in. I post my prompt on social media and we have responses that come in, and that basically will just be our talking points. And if it triggers anything, just let me know and then we can get to talk. I also understand that sometimes when we have people in studio, it's not exactly it doesn't represent everyone because people have diverse experiences. Yeah. So if you also have a story of someone else that you know, we can also just talk about that so that everyone feels seen and represented. So on my prompt, I asked, what was or is life like as a firstborn? Are you an assistant parent? And the first response I got here was from a secondborn, because firstborns are not seen all the time. Secondborn, akakuja akasema, I am a secondborn assistant parent, parent of my parents and all.
Wow.
So I will not address this because we still have an episode on secondborn, on like middleborns and lastborns. So utakuja the week after next week. Sawa. Someone else said, we are just 2 and we are twins, but I was here first. So you just came out first, but you're twins. 22 years later is when I'm getting firstborn roles. 22 years in caps. Na alama ya mshangao iyo. As twins, being firstborn didn't matter, but 22 years later, I'm expected to take care of a grown man. He also doesn't like it because he knows he's capable of taking care of himself. However, it's like my parents realized I didn't experience firstborn roles and want me to do so now when we are both 22.
What sort of firstborn roles are those that he's talking about or she is talking about?
I think she just now has to like check in on the brother or like...
Because now they're saying that they have to take care of a grown-up person.
A grown-up. They are both 22.
The twin.
Yes.
So it could be that the twin is not as responsible.
Oh,
so
maybe.
So it's up to them to take care of this person. The parents are always like, you're the firstborn.
Firstborn by how many minutes?
Yes. Hey, in twinology, it's called twinology on the twin. Because they're always huge on, I came out fast, so I'm older than you.
Yeah.
But it's weird how, because you've mentioned that taking care of someone who already knows how to take care of themselves.
Even the brother
doesn't want to
she
be taken.
said the brother doesn't want to be taken care of because
Yeah.
it just feels odd.
Yeah.
So this is the parents imposing.
Hiyo ni kuforce issues, imagine.
Me, I feel first
Why?
of all, I'm coming from maybe I'm bruised and I'm projecting, but I'm coming from people feel the need for women to work. People feel the need for women to do things. So in this situation, they're literally both grown-ups, but it almost feels like we let her go without responsibility her whole life. Yet it's known that women have to work. Women have to take care of people. Women have to be responsible for someone else.
Yeah, it's
So I
giving
feel
patriarchy. It's like just a patriarchy thing where you just want the girl to always, the way you are told you can't just sit around. Lazima ukwe, you're doing something, you're cleaning, you're cooking, or I don't know, you're organizing stuff, but you'd see your male relatives, them, they just come, they sit. These people can play games the whole day, PS, the whole day. You do not have that luxury of ati ulikuwa una watch TV the whole day, Agie.
Me, that was very odd to me. But I think that's usually, and I think it's coming up now that she's in the age of starting to get married. Your parents are starting to think of you as a wife.
She's 22, right?
Yes.
I wanted to say that because kawaida, there has been this thought, I don't know whether it's medically proven, that women age faster than as they grow up, they end up being more mature than men. So it could be, to her, they're 22, sindo. So you being 22 as a woman, you're quote unquote ripe for marriage, but the man is not, they're still a child.
Yes.
So it's up to you to take up this responsibility. You're the woman. You don't check in on your brother. You don't. Your brother.
Just make sure he's okay.
Make sure he's okay. Has your brother eaten? Has your brother been doing this? When was the last time you talked to your brother?
Yeah.
It's something that has been always there.
So that thing that you've said, it's actually not medical, it's socialization. We were literally socialized to think women grow faster, and it was even said 4 times faster. Reports made this. It is not, no, it has been socialization.
And the weird thing is, we grow up faster than men, but you can't elect a female president.
Apparently.
You can't have that woman become a CEO. I thought she's more mature because you'll have a problem with a female CEO, but when it comes to marriage, it's acceptable. It's really effed up.
We are grown, we can take care of everything until it's time when you want something, when a man wants something.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I think your parents
Release
are just
us.
deep in the patriarchy. At this point, it has nothing to do with you being a firstborn. The fact that it's come up, you being 22, they're just starting to see you in the wifely duties, and they feel like probably they let you get away with a lot when they should have been teaching you how to take care of
Your brother.
a brother or a man. That's usually siyo ndo nini, that's the practice. We take care of our male relatives so that we're
when
practicing
we get
for our
married.
husband.
Oh, shindwe.
Guys, you'll be back. Itoshe.
Hey, you many trigger.
Hey, that one has trigger. Wait, I'll see if she can come on for that podcast, the one related to that. Okay. Hey, Uya. Hiya, someone else said, stop shouting at me. Wah? Lately, you've been on my case.
Release her. Release him or
Release me
her.
now.
Parentification of children is a thing, and then you wonder why firstborns don't want kids. Parental duties on a child budget. That's what she said. So she's brought up the thing of firstborns not wanting children. A lot of firstborns are actually child-free. But something came up during the mother left episode.
Yes.
And it was like firstborns, almost, since they are so used to taking care of people, it's easier for them to just get children and start a family. So it can go 2 ways.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we also had a lady there who's not ready. She doesn't want to have kids. You remember?
Yes.
Yeah. I can't
And for her, it
remember
was
her name.
parentification.
Yes.
Mwamoshe.
Yes, because she took care of her siblings.
Yes.
Yes, because her mom wasn't there. So she was forced. So as she grew older, she's like, she doesn't want kids because she's already like taken care. She's already a mom. She was a mom at a very young age.
And for you and Vicky, since you are already mothering, you are just thinking, see, now I mine. Now I just give birth to my own. It's the same thing.
The same thing.
I also think it's because me and Vicky, when our parents died, but I was small. I think we were mature. We were able to process it. And also process it in the sense that I have to do ABCD. But for her, I would say maybe it's because she was, her mom passed away when she was very small. So growing up, she had to take care, to be a mom from an extremely young age.
And me, it's usually very disturbing for me. I don't know, maybe I'm triggered from a personal point. Even when I'm walking on the road, and I see a very young child, you'll see like a 6-year-old carrying like, let's say, a 2-year-old.
I hate that.
And they're from the shop, or it's her who has to make sure she doesn't get knocked by a car. I'm just like, you're both children. Both of you are very tiny. Both of you are so...
And that's because you're the firstborn.
Yeah.
No, you're first.
And you didn't even ask to be a firstborn. Ulijipata tu.
You just arrived.
You have to
just
parent others. You know, when I was... when my mom passed away, I was forced. Everyone kept saying, "You're the older one. You're the firstborn. You have to do this. You have to do this." So, being the firstborn, it was my responsibility to take care of my small sister and to take care of my dad, because my aunties would ask, "Has your dad eaten? Have you done ABCD?" Because you're the firstborn. No, you're the one who's forced to take this up and now parent a full grown ass man. When he's going through his emotions.
Plus his daughter. Simply because you're the firstborn. Yeah. I think for women, it comes on as responsibility for the entire family. And I really, next time I put out a prompt, please guys reach out. I'm trying to find men who can come. Yeah. For men, I know from personal friends, it happens that if you're the firstborn, it almost seems like they have to now fend for the family, especially if you don't grow up in a very stable background. They just go into the personality of being a provider from a very young age, like you can go and sell a few things. Sometimes men have to make what is this Nini we've watched? Is it Pepeta? These scripts that Kenyans have, Easy Life Zageto. Like you see, they have to sometimes a firstborn will have to debate with the idea of, should I sell drugs? Should I get into crime? Because my family needs to eat. The role of parenting has been solely placed on you.
On them. And them it's even more strenuous because they're expected to provide. And you see, provision is something that comes. You probably, if you stop providing, there are dire consequences. But if it's like things like emotional and whatever, I'll say, you cut them off. You get. And I've seen even these memes or this, we make them as jokes, but it's really unfortunate because you'll hear someone say, mi siwezi taka kuolewa in a family where like I'm married to the firstborn son. True. Because already these younger siblings and sometimes even the parents, they'll see you as someone who is coming to eat what they imagine is theirs. So you'll be really frustrated by the parents and even the siblings,
the
because they're like, and you wonder. So you want your brother to not be married so that you people, and it's for very selfish reasons. So you'll just hear say, huyu mwanamke anakula tu pesa ya ndugu yetu nini, but in the real sense, when you go and open and see what is happening, it's for their own selfish reasons. I don't want my brother to have a wife and kids because his attention, his money is going to go to his family instead of coming to us. And you have the option to literally work for your own.
And even in that sense, this sometimes people don't want to marry a firstborn man, because then if you find a family that doesn't mind him getting married, or rather he's married you out of hard-headedness, now that responsibility lies on you two as the couple.
Yeah.
Because you've seen situations where the man has lost his job or something.
And it's the
And
wife.
now when you're calculating budgets, there's budgets for money that goes to the mother-in-law that
family.
will come out of your
Yeah.
pockets
Yeah.
to go to his mother because he carries the provider role in his family. So
Yeah, I was actually even reading this book on finances by Florence Bett.
Oh, you've read it?
Yes.
Eh.
And I really like reading
I want to read
finance. I like reading finance books by Africans, especially Kenyans, because the advice is so
It's homely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she was saying how before you get married to someone, you need to know what responsibilities they have to their family. Because that thing ukosanisha watu. You find you get married to this person, you probably you have already disclosed to each other, this is what we are earning.
Yeah.
And then ikifika kwa ground, you realize 75% of that money goes to his
Is what
family.
he
So he's
was.
only bringing 25% to the family. And you now are expected to take the burden of, and I always say it's not bad to help your relatives. But these people who become entitled or they are intentionally lazy because they know Olive is going to do it, Esther is going to do it, those are the problematic ones. And they make even the life for the firstborn much more difficult.
Yeah.
I have experienced exactly what you said because I was married to a firstborn and all the responsibility was on the family. So do you know those families where tunasomesha firstborn so that you can come take care of the family?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
That
you
is a
think
very twisted
black
mentality.
tax. So that was the situation, and he got his first job. He wasn't earning as much during that job, but with his little 10,000, I think he used to earn 15,000, and I was pregnant at the time. They were expecting him to take care of his family.
Still.
So now that you've gotten a job, you're the one who has to, your sister needs to go to school, pay school fees. Your dad needs sijui this for biashara. Your other siblings need school fees. It was a lot, and those are one of the factors that drove to our separation. Because I remember one time his family told him, why are you married to this Kikuyu woman? You're the one, you should be here instead taking care of your family. In fact, unafaa kuwa hapo umejengea baba yako nyumba. So why are you married? Because it's your responsibility as the firstborn. So we used to have a lot of like fights because he's being called, you need to pay house rent for your sister. And I couldn't understand how you're paying house rent for your siblings, yet me being a very independent firstborn, because I had to take care of myself, I did things to cater for myself. So in my mind, it's very, you should be smart enough if you know that there isn't money, finances are a bit stretched, tight. It's you should think that wacha niuze sweets hapa, wacha nifanye, unajua those two small things you do in campus just to survive. And that's what I expected, but they didn't think of it like that. So we used to fight a lot.
Yeah.
And anytime he didn't have money, the responsibility would come to me.
It falls on you.
It used to fall on me. So many times I used to send the grandmother money. I used to support his family. His dad needs to do this, so I'm the one who's doing it. It was so much.
That's a lot.
It's a lot.
Considering you're the firstborn and also firstborning for your family.
Exactly.
So it's double.
Yeah.
Man, you've brought up something. You see, the sister hakuwa amejituma.
Yeah.
Like, try and figure out how you can make money so that you're not very dependent on your brother.
Yeah.
Do you feel like the younger siblings don't extend empathy to their firstborns?
Yes.
Their firstborn siblings.
Yes. A big yes. Because I have one. And I love her with all my heart, but she expects certain things to be done. My sister will do this for me. oh, I'm not going to do this because my sister. We were talking about it yesterday, and I was like, I don't understand why someone will be that comfortable. How did to me? Because I even tell her, at your age, I was working. I had no choice. I had to do
literally had
certain.
to
They don't have the same zeal. Yeah.
And it's really upsetting to think that why you being dependent on me. Go have your own life as well.
Can you try and I also just the fact that I've always been so mind blown by younger siblings who literally see what the older sibling is going through, and you know it's hard.
Yeah.
And it's not even for yourself. It's not even out of independence. It's out of, let me ease this off my sister or my brother. I would think it would come from that approach. And even when you were saying, we were talking about it yesterday, this is in reference to the very first, no, not the first episode. It was the first episode, Poverty Trauma, when Brian Banacho said, someone is depending on you. That dependent will go and get an extra dependent to come to, like,
and all of them will depend on you.
Yeah, dependents don't have limits. People who take don't have limits.
Let me tell you.
Yeah, takers. Yeah, the people who just suck off the energy and they take whatever they can, and that's how they operate.
Imagine. So
must be nice.
So you are taking care of your younger sister. You're trying to make sure everything is okay. You're trying to take care of
yourself.
Your sister might just go live her best life. She doesn't have her own money. She might go get pregnant.
Yes.
Bring that child to your house. So that you have another child. Dependents have no shame.
Dependents have no shame.
Another person's child. We will go to Maria Stops. I said that.
Honorable mention.
Hey, please. They should sponsor this podcast. There is no way I am raising someone else's child. To tell Maria, you want to have sex? Let's get condoms. Hey, there is no way.
Dependents can
really. I know of an instance where, but this is not the firstborn. This is the person who has been firstbornized. Literally, they've been firstbornized, and they're struggling to take care of themselves. And you see, when you work hard, you also want to enjoy your money. Me, I can't wait to start traveling on a whim because I've made good money.
Yes,
I cannot be solving grandma alimeza still wool when I've just planned for my you've heard those memes at shosho alimeza wembe jembe yo. So this person who I know, like, they've been taking care of their sister and their sister's kids, right? Then the other day, like, just when they are struggling to take care of their sister's kids, the sister comes, she has another boy.
Oh, wait.
And even when she was telling, she was so fucking pissed. Oh, sorry, focusing. She was so really pissed because she's like, how dare you?
Yeah.
How dare you? And you know very well. And it's because they know you are an empath. They know you will not abandon them.
Kick them out.
Yeah, they know they atadu. And you know, there are those people who have that mentality for atadu.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
there's a story I saw on TikTok of this chick who's a firstborn.
Yeah.
And she got pregnant and she was raising that kid until she met this man, and she's pretending how she's a virgin. And now, because she's pretending she's a virgin, and she went for the correction to be a virgin again.
Oh.
Yes. She gives her big sister, the firstborn, the responsibility to take care of this kid.
Oh.
Now the husband doesn't know. The husband talks really bad about this firstborn because
for having a kid outside of wedlock.
Exactly.
Oh yeah.
Some of you are wicked. Some of you are wicked.
No.
Get out.
She's so upset because now she wants to tell on her sister to the husband that, in fact, this kid that you keep shaming me about is your wife's, and I've taken this kid because I'm the firstborn and I'm an empath.
And how much elasticity is this empathy, please? Because firstborns, you're out here also doing the most.
You need to have limits. I think that's
You
what
really
me
have
I've
to,
learned over time. You can't, and not just even in the sense of being a first, because automatically as a firstborn, I was told, number one, you have to set a good example for your siblings.
Guy, that's another
So because
thing.
of that, you're always trying to do the right thing. You're this goody two-shoes person. You don't rebel. You go to school. You don't want to. I think the most crimes I committed in school ilikuwa kuandikwa kwa noisemakers. And most of the time is because the prefect just hated me. Mwalimu na sahi tunalipa taxes sisi wote. Na ulikuwa unaniandika Agnes times 1,000.
Labda prefects wako na tax exemptions.
Sahi mnalipa tax. Na housing
A boy
levy.
of Sugoi does not recognize.
Wewe prefect.
Anyway, I think that's the worst crime I committed in school. Kuandikwa kwa noisemakers, which was mnapewa punishment, scrub pavements, mfagie class after, which built my cleaning skills anyway. A win is a win. So you see, being a firstborn, you're always told you have to set a good example, and you always have to put everyone else before you. So unaona hiyo unaulizwa, where is your sister? Has your sister eaten? Where like I remember this instance when we were kids. My sister who follows me, she was very kichwa ngumu. She still is, and I love her attitude towards life. I always wish I could be like her, because she doesn't take crap.
Yeah.
So I don't know what she did. I think there's this time where, when we were kids, we were always told to respect our elders. And now this time, people used to say this phrase for mind your own business is very rude to say. I don't know if you guys had that thing, because for us, if you ever told someone, mind your business, that's
That
like
was
the
so
rudest.
rude.
It's like you've cursed.
Yeah.
So I don't know what discussion she was having with an uncle of mine, and she just told him, mind your business. And my uncle got so pissed, he caned her. So now after she's been caned, now there's an aunt of mine who is asking me, where were you when your sister was being caned? I'm like, whoa. I did not say mind your business. Was I there? Naomba nijitoe tu. Kidogo tu. Naomba nijitoe. Because how is that my fault? Mi sijui hata walikuwa nakorofishana why.
And then even if you were there, how would you have stopped your uncle
from
killing your sister?
You're small. You're a child.
You're also a child. Like the pressure to just always
Apart
put
from that, you're
everyone
also
first.
tiny.
You're tiny.
Like
Literally, physically.
Yeah.
So you have to fight with your uncle.
And I just remember, I always remember that instance, and I'm like, why? How was it my problem?
Yeah, it's a lot.
How was it my problem? So being a firstborn, that thing for set a good example and always put everyone first, that is where I think that boundless empathy comes from. And it is very, very...
Firstborns, we are people pleasers. A good one.
Alisikia vibaya. Nani alijam? The people who literally walk around here, they don't care. Nilikukanyaga ukajam, so...
Utadu.
But you just utagwara tu mtu vikido. Sorry, I'm so sorry.
In fact, nyao amekugwara.
Unajua umesema story like setting up a good example. I am the black sheep in our family. A very huge, to the extended family. I am the black sheep. And
you represent the entire family happy. From both maternal and paternal.
Zote. The black sheep. I know they discuss me. Oh my God, have you seen? She's a self-content creator. Mimi, my dad has told my siblings, don't be like your sister. I've taught you, I've raised you in the ways of the Lord. So you shouldn't be like your sister. Kwa sababu apparently nilikuwa mtoto wa mwalimu. You know the way kwanza watoto wa walimu, you need to be too sad.
You just had to that nini last week.
You have to set a good example, and then shida, you be in the same school as your parent, so you have pressure in school and you
pressure
have pressure at home.
That
so
must really suck.
It sucked. And then now, because if you do something now, if you end up being going against the values and everything that they believe to be true, at that point now you become the firstborn, alafu ni mbaya na alafu tena alikuwa mtoto wa mwalimu. That's now another thing.
Double triple.
Double trouble. So my sister is always told, don't be like your sister. She's so disrespectful.
And they're told this in the same breath as, Ciru, can you send me money?
Yes.
Don't be like your sister
Don't be
who
like
needs
your
to be
sister.
sending me money right now urgently.
For the longest
Una 2K
time.
urgently ni wendo
Mimi
unatumanga.
natoa. For
But
the,
those people for 2K urgently. How is someone's money urgent to you? Like,
unless it's
mi
a man.
sijaielewa.
No, unless it's a man.
Aki hapana. Me, I cannot need your 2K
Mimi I
urgently.
will need your 2K urgently. In fact, 10,000.
Nitakuomba kwa heshima if I really need it.
Urgent.
Ati urgently.
Kuna mtu
Really?
niliambia-
Kwa agent.
kuna mtu niliambia,
Kwa agent.
I need 10,000 urgently. Akaniambia, sawa usijali, wacha tuangalie. Kuna wenye wakuambiwa urgently agi.
Okay.
Ngoja nimalize hiyo point kabla
Where were you?
usome. Juu naona unataka kusoma.
Yeah.
Par nini kuambiwa that you're the black
Not be
sheep.
like your sister.
Don't be
Yeah.
like your sister. There is a time because I rebelled after high school because my dad was not there. If you've listened to the previous episode, your mom's
When mom left.
left,
Yeah.
you'll know. So mwendo uko msikize. I went nilituma ushago because nimekuwa kichwa ngumu. And at that time I started living life alone. And for the longest time my sister was always told she's msichana mbaya. It was always put into her because I did not set up that good example.
Yeah.
So up to now nimekuwa msichana mbaya. So I'm working a lot to change that mindset.
Oh, your sisters. Yeah.
Because now to her ni huyu msichana ni mbaya. So anytime I speak up against something in the family, I'm told that I'm being very disrespectful. And every time anytime he finds an opportunity, he will say, I taught you this, you rebelled, you have changed your ways. Wewe ni firstborn mbaya.
Apart from your experience, now there's a whole smear campaign
Yes.
for you
Yes.
across the entire family.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very sad.
I don't know. I don't know how that one for changing the mentality of your other siblings. Because I think I saw, was it Lydia Wanjiro? There's this time where she brought her sister. They were separated with her elder sister. This time where she brought her elder sister and they were just discussing what happened. Why didn't you? I think Lydia was asking, why didn't you come back for me? And I think siblings, if you can, take the time to understand your siblings' perspective of life.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times we're living with strangers who we share blood with. Honestly, because me, it's juicy too is when me and my sister started talking in our adulthood. And they're like, that's what you are going through. We were living in the same house and you don't know what
Olive
you even
is
share
going
beds, you share bedrooms. You don't know what your sister is going through. You might wake up one day, your sibling has unalived themselves. You honestly cannot tell.
Understand why. Agie.
How, yeah.
You were okay.
So, where siblings is a whole thing. Someone else said, yes, I am an assistant parent. How much do you think it would cost to sell the title though? I'm sorry for you. You are stuck with it. Someone else said, I wasn't firstborn, but got assigned the post at a young age when our eldest passed on. Where do I fall?
Dealing with grief of losing your sibling,
Then taking
The
up their
burden
position and
Where?
being horrible. So your whole life is literally someone else's.
I've seen that a lot in the African community. Because in families, you'll hear... so the way the African community is set up, the first one is the head of the family, the firstborn. So they're the ones who are responsible of everything in that family if the dad dies. So it's the firstborn who's responsible of Mama Koaje, the titles, land, anything, finances.
Everything, yeah.
It just basically the estate of the family. It's the firstborn. So if that firstborn, if the firstborn dies, now it's the secondborn who takes it up. Yeah, and I've seen that happen in our family.
It must. I felt for them. My heart broke for them because I feel like their entire lives they're living as a shadow of someone. Like, I am not the firstborn, but I am the firstborn. And even while you're taking up this firstborn role and you're taking care of everyone, does anyone ever register that you also you grieve this your sibling who you've left such big shoes that you just went on to feel, and no one ever cares for how you deal with that? I think that is heavy.
It's a guy.
I wouldn't know.
Let
me check the profile.
It's similar with Kitambo, for families that have that.
It's a girl.
Yeah. For families that have that, they're very staunch with their African grassroots.
Yes.
They're very, when it's the woman is not the one who usually heads the family. It's the son.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah.
So you're the firstborn as the daughter, but the son has to be there. He has to take up those responsibilities. Have you seen it with our parents?
Yeah. It's very common.
It's really it's something else. So you as the firstborn, your title is taken.
That only happens when you're for the matters of what you've called estate.
Estate, yeah.
But if I needed inheritance property as a girl, as a firstborn, I am overlooked.
Yes.
But in the case of taking care of people, making sure people are healthy and happy, that is the woman's responsibility, regardless of whether you are firstborn or not. And if the firstborn was a boy, it would automatically fall on the next girl. Yes.
Hey.
So for us, we are taking responsibility. For them, they are taking wealth.
Hey.
Heri wao aki.
Must be nice. It is the slogan for kazi kwa vijana, pesa kwa wazazi.
Literally. It literally is.
I'm sorry, guys.
I already know. I have a very strong feeling because now I'm the black sheep of the family. If there was a boy, that's the person who would take up the land.
That's true.
Yet mimi nimekuwa hapa nikingangana, because I remember when my sister was going to school, and that's the same time my baby girl was starting school. When kids are starting school fees is a lot, because uniform nini, it's so much,
the initial
investment. Yeah. So I was told nimepatikana na hii shida, your sister needs to go to school, atenda shule aje. Mr. Tafadhali. Yeah. That is not my monkey. It's not my monkey. So I looked for other avenues because now that responsibility has fallen into me. It has fallen on me.
Yeah.
So I had to look for avenues and ways to take her to school because I did not have the money. So the other day at Megonjeka, that's what I was telling you guys. And I'm just thinking, God, please, can this man stay alive? Because I do not have money for burial. Because if he was to die, I'm the one who will take it up.
Yeah. And why we were reacting to that is because for us it felt so sad that you've been socialized, or how do you call it? You've been socialized so much to attend to people that even in dire situations, as situations of sickness or health, for you it computes as money or resources.
Yeah.
And it's not that I love Shiko, I don't want Shiko to die. It's just that if Shiko dies, it will cost me. Can you imagine a human being having to calculate human life like that?
I'm sure there are so many firstborns
who would do that. Yeah.
Because mzazi wako kwanza hajajipanga.
Yeah. And you've always heard me say, I always want people around me to thrive.
Yeah.
It's for the same reason. I wouldn't sit here and want my sister to do something bad because that will automatically fall on you. I need my sister to have a good job. I need my sister to be in a good marriage. I need my sister to take care of her kids. If anything happens to your sister. So you guys can't be haters. You can't be sadists.
Yeah.
You prefer if everything works out for other people so that doesn't come back to you.
Back to you.
Because you've even taken up the role of a firstborn.
Yes.
Up to date.
But I will not speak to it because we have our episode in 2 weeks.
There's this TikTok I was seeing where this lady was saying that thing that we just said, and she was saying how a certain book she read where there were two sisters. Okay, there were sisters, and the eldest, I think she got married to a prince. It's set in the old times. So the eldest married a prince, and they were able to be well off financially and all that. And then one of the sisters, because she is that thing for dependents who do not have limits.
Where?
And she was actually approached by a really wealthy man who could have actually made a good husband for her. But out of spite, she decided to marry a man who wasn't that well off, and just to get the attention of her sisters, so that she can be the center of attention, because all her sisters are married well. She wants to stand out. You know, those people who are like, let me ruin my life to get attention.
So that,
And in the end, actually, the way her life turned out, her sisters had to bail her out every single time.
They had to adopt kids that she could not support.
Exactly. So at the end of the day, we need to have a culture of wanting people to thrive. And also, there are also these firstborns who have this savior syndrome. So they always want to be the ones who are doing well, so that they can always swoop in and save. Oh, Esther is suffering. Come and see Mimi. I also see it with some celebrities online. I'm not going to mention names, where every single time you give someone 1,000 bob, you want it to be publicized, press all over the press. That savior syndrome thing.
Explain that to me.
That is, it is some sort of, what is it called? It's a sort of trauma, and if you don't recognize it, you'll realize that you really enjoy helping people, and you'll find that you actually don't want people to be independent. You want people to be dependent on you.
Because you are the firstborn. You're the firstborn.
It's not really firstborn. Okay, it's common among firstborns, but you will sabotage Esther just so that she can remain in your clothes. You don't want Esther to thrive because I just want Esther to be in my clothes.
I want to be the one pulling the strings, to puppeteer you.
And then in the end, people will clap for me and say, if it wasn't Agnes, nakwambia huyo Esther angeteseka. If it wasn't...
sometimes it appears as... It is a trauma that is so hidden you won't even notice. But sometimes it appears as you not deliberately doing things in your life to, like, let's say your sister is a menace. She's not helping you in any way. She's decided her life. Everything falls back on you. You can take intentional things to, like punishment. You've gone and messed up your job. You won't come and live with me. Find a place to live. Those are like measures you'll set, or try and heal yourself, or try and keep distance. But you'll find yourself always coming back, always answering their call. When you haven't talked to them for a while, you want to call and find out what is happening. So that is a very deep-rooted trauma that, if you don't realize, is very draining. But you are hooked to being needed. So while you can cut people off, while you can decide not to answer phone calls, while you can decide to tell someone no, while you can decide to put up boundaries, you find yourself still wanting to hear what's happening so that you can help, even in situations when you genuinely do not have. You'll find yourself digging a hole just so you can help
like
someone.
They save, You get some gratification from always saving people. Knight in shining armor. Oh, Esther came through for me. This is so nice. And then you feel it's like a high. Every single time things are calm, you start looking for problems to solve.
You have to find someone to help.
I think I've seen it with someone. I wish I knew about this podcast earlier. I could have told you. It's a guy.
Yeah.
So he shared with me. I was with him and we were talking. And then he mentions something about the way now he's the firstborn, the way now he's taking care of his sibling. And that topic happened because there is a relative who reached out and they're like, I need 2K urgently. And he was like, why is this person disturbing me? See, this relative has kids of his own. Why can't he ask these kids? And ikamuliza, are you going to send them money? Ati, wanani stress, but ntatuma. And then he continues to say now how he's taking care of his siblings.
Yeah.
He's the one he wants his parent to go back to Shags so that he can take care of the parent. And I'm like, what have you done for yourself in this Nairobi so that your parent can actually leave town, stop working, retire, and go back to up country? Like, what there is money that he's getting. Why do you want that? I couldn't understand it. And I was so mad at this person because, and why? I make it make sense to me.
I think what is so scary about what we are talking about is that you do not recognize it. You do not know it's a trauma you have. You don't know. So self-awareness is very, very important. A lot of people are living life and not knowing. They're basically just reliving their own traumas in different ways. You don't know. You look at someone and you're like, me, I'm not addicted to alcohol. Whatever you're addicted to something.
Yeah,
you're addicted
you have an addiction, which is very...
to your family, your toxic family that is constant, is detrimental to your mental health. But you don't see that as a problem.
And one thing I've noticed about those firstborns, now that we are talking about it, is that they'll always give. They don't have those limits. They'll always give. Because he was telling me that there is a certain chama that they have, and he contributes for his siblings and his mom. Yet they have their
own jobs,
their own money.
Yeah.
And anytime he's never gotten his share, because he also checks for him. It always goes to
And
his.
if you ask that person,
Why
why don't you stop contributing? They cannot.
He wasn't able to answer that.
Yeah. So they have that addiction that they themselves do not know they have.
Hey.
Yeah.
So uko kwa chama na hukulangi
Haukuli
pesa.
do,
And you're funding.
What is the purpose of that chama there?
And you're funding people who have their own money. Do you see how deep it is?
It is very problematic.
Yeah.
Hey guys.
Hey,
Let me be the black sheep. Hey, hakuna
Set
vile.
boundaries. I think this is the point where it will be easy to plug. There's a girl called Nyatichi on TikTok. Nyatichi.com or nyatichi.co, something. Nyatichi, she has journals and her entire page and blog is dedicated to healing firstborn daughters.
Oh.
Yes, so I've seen...
I'll check her out.
Yes, I'll link her in the description as well. And she has a few journals that will help you navigate traumas. She's doing firstborn daughters, but sometimes a lot of people, I even see in her comments, a lot of people are like looking through and they're like, but you're talking to me. I'm not a firstborn, but you're talking to me. So I'll plug you on her journals and then you can just like interact with her content and see. I felt it was very beautiful that I can see content for women healing, especially firstborn women who carry a lot. Kwanza in the African culture, firstborn women they even need a public holiday because
Hey, manzi.
We are the ones who will cook. We will do
Everything.
everything. Once the moment you finish high school like this, even when you're in high school,
and you
during
will
holidays,
fend in the situation where
Eh.
you're the firstborn daughter, you will fend to feed the family. In the situation where it's a man as the firstborn, they will fend.
Yeah.
But if it's a secondborn, if the secondborn is a girl, they'll not have to go and provide.
Yeah.
But as a firstborn, you will provide and you'll still do like responsibilities. So, yeah.
It's so sad, by the way.
There's a lot of content on TikTok about firstborn daughters, and I've been seeing a lot on firstborn daughters in marriage.
Hey,
Mm.
are you
You've
ready?
seen?
Are you ready, Wena?
You're not ready when
Are you ready?
And they
I'm
were
so
saying
tired.
the way, even in marriage, like what we said, even in marriage, as a firstborn daughter, you get into it as a firstborn daughter.
You
Does
get
it
into
make
it.
sense?
It does.
Like,
So you come with this energy for always want to give. You always
in the
want
beginning,
to care.
first of all, before we get to marriage, you will attract men who want to be taken care
care
of.
of.
Yes.
Firstborn daughters will most often marry a man who is as good as a child.
Yes, or a last.
As good as they'll take care of this person.
So
they have
similar.
4 children and then plus the husband. They have 5.
It's similar to this thing for many nurses have unemployed lazy husbands.
Oh, they do. I did not know that.
I saw it on TikTok and I was like, yo.
I've never thought about it, and the minute you've mentioned it, I've thought
because you come with this energy of
every single
I can take care
couch
of you.
I know who's a man.
And
Is
their
married
wife
to a
is
nurse.
Their wife is a nurse.
Because the wife is a caregiver.
Hey, just so release us.
Where?
Guys, learn how your like mental space works. Learn psychology, because I feel it will free you from a lot of things.
It will.
Understand psychology in whatever capacity you can. Just understand a bit of psychology.
We need, I feel like every firstborn daughter needs to go for therapy, because we have been conditioned to take care of the family. You're the one who's taking care of the family. You're the disciplinarian in the family. Are you the disciplinarian in the family?
No, that is a role like at ad, cause I'm not.
You're so.
I'm very soft. I even always say if I have kids, I hope their father will have the disciplinarian energy, because me, I don't have it. I don't know how to start telling. Even when somebody will call me and tell me, Ebu, talk to your cousin.
What do you want me to say?
Me nitamtumia tu memes in terms of memes zenye zinakaa ziko na warning.
Subliminals.
Mimi ndo the disciplinarian. And when I think about the people that I know who are firstborns, there's one who's coming into mind very, very strongly. Her siblings are scared of her.
You become a discipline.
Because that's her responsibility. You see,
a lot of firstborns go into HR.
Oh, they do.
They're very
unataka kupanga watu.
They're very moved to do this year. Yes.
Yeah. You see the way you're saying your sister was telling your uncle mind your business, and your auntie was asking you where were you.
Yeah.
What I feel like she meant was, where were you to correct your sister?
Oh, not to attack the uncle.
But I'm not your parent. Mimi hata hiyo mind your business sijui ulilearn wapi.
It is your responsibility as the firstborn
to discipline your sister. I didn't think of
it. I hadn't thought of it that way.
When you see kids playing outside, the elder one is the one who's usually told, take care of your small sister, take care of your small brother. So when your sister or your brother does something wrong, when they come back to the house, wewe ndo unaulizwa ulikuwa wapi. When the parents are going somewhere, it is the firstborn. Uhakikishe hii imefanywa. When what I know is what I've seen, ukitoka, because me and my sister, we have a very huge gap, but also I saw it with my guardian. Wakati alikuwa naenda, nilikuwa naambiwa wakisha chakula imepikwa nini, mtoto ameoga, wamefanya hivi. Ungekuwa mdogo na mzazi wako apate vitu hazijafanywa, and your sibling amevunja glass ama amefanya kitu, utaulizwa where were you
when she was doing
so you'll be punished for someone else's mistake. So growing up, you have to become the disciplinarian, the force to reckon with, because you have to make sure
that missed me. I didn't have the time.
You're lucky.
I didn't have the time to
discipline
people. You've said about breaking things. I just remembered a story. There's a time when we were kids, my sister who follows me, shout out to Reggie. She's so interesting. So what she did, I think she wanted to see what would happen if she threw a coin inside the thermos. And she let her intrusive thoughts win. I mean, I could never let my intrusive thoughts win. So she put the 10 shilling inside, and then the flask seat got broken. No, I can't remember the excuse she gave, but it was hilarious. It was so hilarious. My own mother couldn't stop laughing. Because I think my mom was just like, this is dumb, but you're so funny.
You see those, there's something you've said that literally plays to that. You'd never let your intrusive thoughts win.
Never.
The
consequences are dire.
Your siblings, however,
they're
experiment.
What would happen?
Yeah.
What would happen? I just like, Reggie, what were you thinking? Putting a 10 shilling coin inside the flask. She's like, I just wanted, and she broke that flask for that one that is always used. You know, if you broke a flask that is not used, you could have just hidden it somewhere. She broke the one that we usually use.
That's a family member.
Man, you know, even I remember asking her, and she was really worried because my mom was a disciplinarian. She knew mom, and then she just came up. I can't remember if I remember it, I'll tell you. But it was hilarious. Yeah,
I feel so triggered because I feel like a lot of the common sense I have is not experiences I've had. You are just so scared of ever doing something that you knew was not common sense. I didn't have it in me to ever experiment. So you just went across life doing things the right way. But if someone were to put you in a situation where it's done the wrong way, you didn't know how to navigate it. Experiment was not.
It wasn't there.
It wasn't your thing. Even up to now, I'd say I'm a very... I do not like taking risks. Because I'm just like... I just remember that the disciplinarian mom just telling me, if you ever up...
Firstborn.
It's on you, you know. Yeah, and that thing for my dad saying, you have to set a good example for your siblings. So I'm always just, those two voices, they keep ringing in my head and I'm just like, hey, atinijaribu mihadarati. No.
I read somewhere that, I don't remember where I got it, but I read somewhere that firstborns are usually the most responsible, but they go into careers that don't fulfill them as much and don't pay as much. Lastborns, however, tend to be very careless, carefree, are free to experiment. They're very open to things. And apparently lastborns are usually the most successful in families. And I'm thinking you can link it back to them being so confident that they can try out things.
They were told the world is your oyster. You were told, where?
Don't you try.
Hapana
Don't you
jaribu.
dare.
How dare you?
Hey, utakipata. Dai.
Should I read the next one? The longer ones now.
Okay.
I don't know if this will have so much to discuss on, but the next one will be, I'm officially a member of your gang. I watched you read my post, and let me tell you how excited I was. Oh, you get so excited when your posts get read. Hey. So on to the next episode about firstborns. I am a firstborn, so it goes without saying I'm automatically a deputy parent. The only expectations that were put on me were that I be a good example, which wasn't really pressure, except for one. I was about to sit my KCPE. I was so scared of failing that I'd cry. Didn't disappoint though. What I know is, I know what it means to love someone so much that you want them to succeed. He is working but struggling. Oh, that's the brother. That's the part where I have noticed my youngest brother has been mistaking me for his parent. And then I have to connect it back. Except for one, I was about to sit my KCPE. What I know is, I know that it means so much. I know what it means so much to love someone and want them to succeed. He is working but struggling because the pay can barely sustain him. So more often than not, I would help him here and there. It's not an expectation, neither a responsibility. I just don't like to hear that he's going through it when I can help him. I'm glad he asks for help, and when I can, I come through. Deep down, I'm so proud of how responsible he turned out. So for her, she doesn't feel like it's a responsibility. And she says the only expectation that was just set a good example. I think she doesn't realize she's traumatized.
You're going through trauma. Sweetheart, you're going through trauma. That is trauma.
Yeah.
Because people pleasing. She doesn't realize it.
You don't, a lot of times you don't realize.
Because what I'm thinking is, the brother is working, he's just very poor with his finances. Not that it's not someone who's...
No, it's not a lot. It's he's working, but it's just not enough. Yeah.
What is enough? That's the question. Because...
maybe she's just topping up.
Unless he's living beyond his means. Because what I will do is this. If you come and tell me you're earning 20,000... which is what most people, the least that a lot of people earn, I'm using that as the data that's out there. I would advise, tafuta kanyumba, fanya hivi, so that you can afford. You'll never have enough. Like, I'll come and teach you the basics of budgeting and finances. So her coming here to save the brother, because it's not enough, quote unquote. It's basically people pleasing, and she doesn't realize it.
Oh yeah, you might not. Maybe sometimes it presents as the discomfort of I'm living in a 20K house, I'm earning this much, and my brother is earning 5K, so he's living in a 1K house. So it's difficult to comprehend that I'm living as a middle class, my brother is living as a low class, yet maybe you feel like we should both be middle. So maybe that's what you're trying to compensate for, so that you're both
on the same level, or rather not so
but
far
still
off.
it's some sort of I still feel like it's some sort of trauma that she just hasn't realized. Even her saying the only expectation that was put on me was just be a good example.
Yeah,
you
why
don't
should I
realize
be
how
a
much
good
that
example?
wires you different.
That's why
Why should I be
money.
a good example? Everybody should have their own will.
That's why she's sending money.
She was just be a good example. I'd also like to know how she handles situations in life, because that be a good example,
That thing is
really wires you differently your whole life. You will be so scared of failure. You'll be so embarrassed of things like sharing, like the way I've told you, I don't share anything unless it comes back as success. Because how will I deal with the explanation of it failed? Because you are always supposed to be a good example, and a good example never failed.
And a good example is perfect. So you can't even let the world, you can even be struggling with something and you will not ask for help. And myself, I don't even know how to ask. Like, if you see me come and ask help,
asking for help,
I'm
really niko vibaya. It is a very bad place. I mean, otherwise I'll most of the time handle my issues peke yangu.
The hyper independence.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, I don't have money. Let me get to Mshwari. It has a higher penalty in terms of not penalty, interest rate. And I could just tell my friend, hey, unaweza nisaidia na pesa. That's why me that nisaidia na 2K urgently. It shocks me. It shock me, because what do you mean? Mimi nitaenda Mshwari.
No, leave the romantic relationship out. Even right now, it's very difficult for me to tell Esther, can you send me 2K urgently? Sometimes when you're in that situation, you feel like I'd rather even take it from a bank
than go
exactly
tell my friend.
Where there's the systems are set, than trying to navigate murky waters of friendships and all that with
true.
I don't know, but again, it could be.
And then there's something you've said, that she's scared of failing. So it could be that the brother has enough, he can manage.
Let's not speak for her. Maybe this man is suffering.
But because maybe the brother is not failing in his eyes. It's so it could be the sister anamuona the same thing you said. I'm living in a 20K house, and my bro is living probably in a 2K house. So in my eyes, my brother is failing.
And I want everyone to be perfect, everything to be perfect.
Or maybe in his brother's eyes, he's fine.
He's fine, And now the money could be not enough, because the brother has seen, again, siblings. The brother has seen, probably, my sister comes through for me.
Either way.
She says, what I know is I know what it means to love someone so much that you want them to succeed.
Exactly.
He is working but struggling because the pay can barely sustain him. So more often than not, I would help him here and there. So, yes, I've understood what Shiro is saying.
The other question I'd have, I wish she had explained the context of whether their parents are able or not. Because if he's barely surviving and his parents are there, why should I take it up?
Hey, but let me tell
I have
you
noticed.
again.
Oh, she also says, I have noticed my youngest brother has been mistaking me for
Yeah,
his parent.
if kama wazazi wako see, and there's someone who said this.
Amezoea kusaidiwa.
There's someone who
She
said
doesn't notice that she's her herself. She doesn't notice that these people might be taking advantage of how
me,
open and how
Yeah.
much she loves them, and just
there's someone
does
who
not
said
mind.
the adultification of children is one of the side effects or the effects of she mentioned patriarchy, saying that where the woman is doing everything, the man is just analeta tu pesa then anawacha. So because the woman will become overwhelmed, she'll need a deputy parent, and the deputy parent will automatically become the firstborn. But if we lived in a world where both the mother and the father were financially, emotionally, all those facets involved in the child's life, then the mother would not need to outsource for a deputy parent. Because tell me why you are living in a house with a man, you do everything alone, and you have, let's say you have 2 kids, right? You wake up, you make breakfast, you serve everybody, then after that you have to go to work, then you come back, you still have to clean up, make sure the kids are okay. What makes you think this woman will not tell the firstborn child, leo sasa hakikisha umetuck in brother yako saa ya kulala? While if they were doing it together, they could actually be mmoja anaosha mtoto mdogo, mwingine anavalisha huyu nguo, something like that. So you have like where both parents are actually 100% involved.
And money is not enough, because what we've come to realize is that we've made people believe that money is enough, so men just need to provide. And when men are told to provide, they think they only need to provide money. As I've used the context of me moving in with my ex before, when I saw how many moving parts there is in managing a house, I was like, imagine me give me rent, I just pay this amount every month. That is way easier than mama fu anafaa kukuja. We are going to the market to buy food. The house needs to get cleaned. Milk needs to be taken.
What I'm eating for supper, it is exhausting.
The mental load is
exhausting.
Expensive. You cannot put a price tag to the mental work that is done. So that's what needs to be split. But this idea of I'm bringing in the money, why can't you take care of the house? If the roles were to be switched, let me bring you money, you take care of the house, we see. If you have the capacity.
Because you see, even taking care of the house comes with a lot of emotional labor. When the kid comes from school, they were bullied, it's you to sit down with them and tell them, this is what you do next time a bully comes, right?
Sometimes it's not even that extreme. The way she was saying, sometimes the child has just come from school, they're excited. They are talking off their head. And you just want to, you've had a bad day at work. She wants to tell you stories from here to now. They don't want to sleep. It's headed to 10 p.m. Oh yeah, get out.
You know, kids are when they're from school, because in school there are so many rules. They have this burst of energy that they can't release. So the moment they
get home,
this,
kila kitu.
Hey, mommy this, mommy that, mommy
But then that shows your home is healthy. Because for a lot of people, school was a safer place than home. Home, when you came, you were mom.
True.
You could not speak anything. Children are supposed to be seen and not heard. So that means you've created a
healthy space.
I will stop complaining.
Well, just try to manage it. Because even me, my parents tell me that when, like I told you guys in the previous episode, those who listened, me was easy to raise. My mom tells me, like, I was very easy to raise. I didn't sumbua kwenda shule. I didn't have weird disciplinary cases. I don't know, these stories for when you get to adolescence, your parents are worried, you'll get. My mom told me when it came to me, she didn't have those fears at all.
Do you think it's because you were the firstborn and you had been told you have to set a good example? You have to.
I think it's partly it could be because of that, but I also think maybe that's just my nature. Like I don't like chaos, drama. I just like peace and quiet. But now my mom tells me now, because me when I went to school after I followed our house help, who had a friend in the nearby kindergarten, and that's how I started school. So the next day the teacher just came to our house. She told my mom, just buy for her uniform. You're having it easy. Other kids have to be dragged because my siblings would cry in the morning. They'd be vomiting. They'd be sick. But me I was ready. And now, because I was so happy to go to school, I'd come back from school and I want to tell my parents everything that I was told. So my mom even tells me when she'd take me to her office, nilikuwa napandishwa kwa meza and I sing for people those two things I have learned in school. And she used to be like, Aggie, sometimes it was exhausting. I really wanted to sleep, but you are there telling me a, e, I, o, u. She tells me there's a poem called Samaki ni mnyama mdogo. I don't remember it, but her, she remembers the whole poem because I used to Yapa, Shanice. Yeah, so I get that. Yeah. I think my mom would really relate with what you're going through right now because I was literally like that.
You're speaking and I'm just thinking of Amara, my daughter, because she's not a problematic baby.
She's not at all.
She's not. Maybe it's her nature because I don't want her to have firstborn traumas or only kid traumas. I don't know if I'll have another baby, but yeah. So I have now I understood. You on the other hand, ni kuogopa.
What am I fearing?
Ukiwa mdogo, when you were a very quiet child.
Yeah.
Juu uoga.
I struggle to tell whether it was fear or it was nature because I was parentified very young, as young as I could remember. So I don't recall a time when I had autonomy.
I can't wait for your that podcast because you don't want to talk about it. Yeah, but you have a lot of
firstborn experiences. Yeah.
And I remember us having a call and I was explaining to you because of that situation that we had at Village Market. You taking up responsibility of someone who should have taken it. And I was just trying to explain to you it's because growing up you are supposed to take up things. And I've always told people, if you tell me something, even right now you call me and you tell me, Olive, I'm supposed to pass by and pick lunch, it immediately registers as an errand in my head. Yeah. So it has to be ticked off the to-do list. And that is something I think maybe people don't get. Yeah. But a lot of things are responsibility. And I need it ticked off. So we need to go and do that thing and get you lunch. Yeah, so I can't remember whether I ever... So I don't know if who I am is my nature or it's all a ball of traumas.
The nature process.
Yeah, true. Anyways, nini middleborns watakuja. Hoping I have a similar experience with the rest of
Can't wait for that episode.
Middleborns mjitokeze. Msikwe, especially men. I think men need to have that culture of talking about.
Kwanza firstborns. I've seen men struggle with being firstborns. They hold so much on their shoulders.
They do.
I'd have loved that they be here.
Firstborn, yeah.
But if you can, we'll talk again. We'll have season 5. Don't worry. If you feel like it, you tell me. We'll talk.
I can share an experience of a firstborn guy that I know. Not my ex, but someone else that I know of.
Yeah.
This man has been forced to take up responsibility of the whole household in terms of businesses, everything. So the dad is unwell, the mom retired, they're both retired. They hadn't planned themselves. So anything that happens in that house is him. So they have other incomes, but it's not as much. So the mistakes of his father, for example, like the other time they had a bill ya KPLC ya 20,000, I mean 50,000, because the father wasn't paying. Now it's his responsibility to look for that money to make sure that he's paid off.
Figure it out,
anytime his mom is always calling, this is needed in the house. Hakuna unga, hakuna hii.
So he's the firstborn son and the mother's husband.
Yes.
At the same time.
Yes, and the sister is always like, hii natakikana. Oh, endea sister yako. Oh, fanya hivi. Hii haijafanywa. Oh, shamba inafaa kufanywa hivi. So he can't, if you think of this man wanting even to have his own family, children, he cannot at this point because there is so much. I've heard him say that he will wish that his father just goes and rests because it will be less of a burden for him. And if you see someone saying such things, Mimi on the other hand here, I'm like, man, mister, do not die because I don't have money for your burial. But he's like, just go and rest because it will be one less of a burden.
Because some people, maybe for him, his perspective is, this will be a one-off expense.
Yeah.
Than if you're here, I still have to keep catering.
Exactly.
Ya matanga tutachanga ishe ulale.
Huyu mwanaume hana maisha.
That is so
he
sad.
has no life at
And
all.
I hope someone, I don't know if there are podcasts already that are doing this, but I hope someone is creating space for men to get therapy or to heal.
Yeah.
Because what I realize a lot with men is that they don't recognize, they're not aware that their day-to-day life is traumatic responses. So like that guy, he'll just go ahead and take care of his family, doesn't have the mind space to think about dating, to think about his own family, to think about his own health. He's taking care of a family, a full-blown family, as his sole responsibility, and it was not his
He
choice.
didn't sign up for it.
Yeah.
So instead of looking for money to build wealth for himself, he's looking for money to cater for expenses.
And then now what happens to him in his old age? Because you see, these prime years of working, these are the years you're supposed to not only experience life, but also plan for your days where you
Your
will not
own,
be able to work every day. So
There's one
very
thing
sad.
I've heard someone say, and it usually sounds so harsh, but it is what it is. Your parents already lived their life and they had that chance to make better decisions. As much as you have to extend empathy and grace, at the end of the day, you still have to take care of yours. Like, you still have a life. How much more life do they have? If we just go by, let's not go at something might happen to you, you might die before your parents. Just looking at the way life is set, if you're 70-year-old, you're closer to death than a 30-year-old. So a 30-year-old shouldn't be working for your last 10 years. A 30-year-old should be working for the time when they are
going to
70.
become 70.
So it's really unfair that you have to take care of someone's last years when your own future is not catered for. It's unfair, and that was placed on you. It's not you who chose to be here.
And then it comes with a lot of emotional baggage as well, because every single time now when you get to that age of retiring, you will be those people. It creates a cycle basically.
Yeah.
So if you ever have kids, now your kids will have to do the same thing that you did for your
Take
parents.
care of you.
And it will come back with entitlement, because you feel like you're doing it for your parents. You'll feel like even your should be
kids
done for you.
yeah.
So you're not breaking the cycle, and that's what we are trying to do.
But have you ever had their parents who tell their kids that I took you to school, I did this for you so that you can take care of your siblings. I took you to school so that you can do this.
You can take care of me in my
But
old
I didn't
age.
give birth to my siblings.
I
didn't.
That is where the disrespect
Yeah.
begins. You and mind your own business.
Yeah, someone was told I used all my savings to take you to private university so that you can take care of your siblings, and you're not taking care of them.
And who even told them that education is a guarantee for success? You know, even right now we are looking back, we were all duped by 844.
True.
Where?
Sai huku nje ni connections.
Good papa.
Ni connections. Me mambo
Godfather
ya
production.
ni Godfather Productions. Then you want to come and tell me because nilikupeleka university you must have. How many graduates do you know out here hawana jobs? Ama hata hawana basic internship experience.
There's something Akinyi. I don't know if you know Diana Akinyi. Diana Akinyi, she was on my podcast for parenting.
I remember her.
So she's just posted a TikTok recently, I think yesterday, and she was basically saying sacrifice does not exist when you're a parent. Sacrifice is not a word that exists.
Yeah.
You made the decision to be
have
a
a
parent.
child.
If you go and get food and your child eats, you've not sacrificed your time.
You have
You
done
are
your
responsible
responsibility.
for feeding this child. If you've gone and cleared out your savings to take this child to school, you've not sacrificed your savings. You've taken this child to school, which is their human right. As a parent, there are only responsibilities. There are no sacrifices, especially for your children.
Yeah.
Firstborns will always be told, I did this for you, I did this for you, I did this for you.
Who asked you?
But also there are firstborns who don't get, like I was telling you earlier, there are firstborns who won't be taken to school. The parent doesn't
Imagine.
give two fucks whether you go to school or not, but they will expect you to come through. But the secondborn, na kuendelea, they get everything. They get everything.
I also
But why
don't-
do you
yeah.
think... Sorry to...
Sure.
Why do you think this parent ulienda labor room ukazaa watoto wote, what makes you want to treat one so badly? You know, okay, obviously treatment haitakuwa the same because you'll bond differently with your kids, but I think at the basis of it there should just be that parental love and parental care. But kuna wengine tu, you're just wicked to a specific child.
Yeah.
Why?
It could be that they didn't want you.
And you wanted the secondborn.
Yeah, the secondborn. So the firstborn, you had no choice. So you had to take care of this child, whether you like it or not. And not because you've gotten used to it, you're like, we need a secondborn. So that secondborn, they don't come with a plan, but you're okay with the idea of having a child. So that secondborn will receive more love because they are not unwanted. That's what I think.
So for the firstborn, they're just trying to... It's by law that they need to take care of you. It's not that they're... Yeah, so they're just trying to get you to 18. Now you're legal.
Yeah.
You figure.
How many of us tulisimamia harusi za wazazi wetu? We are very many. And most of us, when you tulisimamia harusi, we are firstborns. The people who were in the lineup in their parents' weddings, they are mostly firstborns. Meaning you were married, you got that, they got you out of wedlock. You were not planned. And because now the way the society was
Christians
tumble,
assemble.
exactly, you are not supposed to. Having a child out of wedlock is very...
It is frowned upon.
It is frowned upon, especially by our parents then.
So you were a reminder of an embarrassment
Exactly.
or a disgrace.
So they had to get married because of that disgrace. And married in the sense that they've gone to the homestead and they have said, we have taken your daughter and we take a goat as just kuficha weight,
for...
But now, so they are living together. They are now fending for you. You are not wanted. And now you smamia their wedding lineup. And now after that they decide, let's get another child. They just even when the wife gets pregnant or even when they have another child, it's not
new.
It's not new to them. So this child will receive more love.
This firstborn episode is layered.
I've
never even thought of it like that.
Yeah.
That's weird. That is...
But I'd have never thought of it like that. You are literally an accident or you are the reason their way of life took that way of life. They married who they married, or you are the reason they ended up with that husband or that wife.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Very deep.
Let me read the last one here.
Hey, that's a long one.
But I guess it's loaded. This is a super interesting topic for me because of the changes I am making with my kids. I will love it. Millennial and Gen Z. Imagine me, I'll shout you out every episode. I think at some point my mother may have just surrendered her parenting rights to me by default. She would send me to my siblings' schools to attend to their academic and discipline issues. When they were misbehaving, she would just tell them, "I'll tell Winnie." So she was the disciplinarian paka. Her siblings are threatened with her. And so my siblings and I had a love-hate relationship that we are currently working on a great deal. It was so bad that they would all be in a room chatting, and when I walked in, they went silent. I felt so left out. However, I got to a point and said I did not want that kind of relationship with them, and so we have had many moments of truth where they said the things I did and that they did not appreciate, and I have been apologetic to them. We are good friends now, but the firstborn energy still lingers, though more from a point of respect, love, and admiration, I think, rather than from a point of fear. However, last year, I just declared that I was not interested in being a firstborn, as it somehow took away from me my rights to just be a child. We are all grown, and so I thought everyone should be responsible for their behaviors and actions. And because of this lack of experiencing my childhood in full, I do differently with my child. I just let the kid be. I try as much as possible to create an environment that is very conducive for her to be a child without any responsibilities over her shoulders. It has led to many decisions, including holding on to the thought of another child, which at this point seems like never happening, but we remain open-minded. I relate with my siblings from a better place and not as a firstborn or deputy parent. I do not believe in giving responsibilities to one child to care for the rest, which is what most people argue to be the reason they have more kids. Huyu mkubwa ale wenzake. And I wonder when will the one who is caring for others have time to care for themselves? I have learned so much to show up for myself before I show up for my siblings. I do not do black tax. I call my parents out on why they did not do their bit, and so my mantra is that if I extend a hand on anything, it is from a place of gratitude and not an obligation, because I do not understand why you bring children into the world so that they can do your work for you. Make it make sense. And so those are my small wins as I unlearn a lot of things that are bestowed upon first children. I would especially encourage parents to treat every child as if they are an only child, and stop with the comparison, because they are all unique on their own. If I was around, I would have loved to be part of the show, and you are doing so well, my dear. I feel so proud every time I see you.
Aww, this is such a wholesome
I
post.
love it. She said something.
Yes.
So when my daughter, when I told my daughter that I want to, she came and asked me, "Mommy, do you want to have another baby?" I said yes. She said, "Then mommy, it's gonna be like this. I won't change diapers. That's your baby. I will not take care of that baby." She is so woke.
Yes.
So right now I know if I was to have another child,
Yeah.
my daughter has put
Her foot
her
down.
foot down. She has said there is no way I'm taking care of this child.
Yeah.
It's your child. She doesn't even want kids. At a young age, she said that, "Mommy, I don't want to have babies.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I grow up." So I love.
It's so wholesome. I love that she's tried to mend the relationship with the sisters. Because a lot of times, again, it's the smear campaign.
Yeah.
You were branded as the parent. Your sisters took you as the parent. Now, you wanted them to relate with you as a friend from where? And also, you don't know any other truth. Your whole life, you've been a parent. So, I really... And me, this is what I was saying for men. I want people to unlearn. I want people to recognize where it is that they are hurting and try and heal that part of them so that you're bringing in better generations. Because even me, I realized at that time, because I was expected to do a few things here and there for my younger sisters, I realized why are you taking soap for 200 bob? As we used soap for 50 bob. So you feel the need to impose that thing which you are taught as responsible on your younger siblings, which doesn't make sense. If their parents have allowed them to buy soap for 200 bob, I'm sorry that they did not allow you bathe with your bar soap in peace. So yeah, this was so wholesome.
Such a beautiful post. And the fact that she also says that she has created a dynamic where she'll call out her parents. You know, their firstborns can never see any wrong in their parents. Me, I see my younger sister tell my mom, when you said that, you hurt my feelings. I'm like, that's allowed. You can tell mom she hurt your feelings.
Last ones are coming next week. Last ones do not care. They don't give a damn.
Yeah, so being in that dynamic where you are actually giving feedback with honesty, whether it's good or bad, that is very important.
It is.
I would love to have her when she's
Yeah.
back, because this was so wholesome. There's someone else who I also invited to the podcast, but they couldn't make it, and they said basically they couldn't make it because of firstborn duties.
Wait, yo.
Firstborn.
So it was just like, oh my goodness, it haunts you your entire life.
The
But
fact,
no, yes.
the fact that she can say no to her parents.
And then I like that. You see the way she said, I woke up one day and I said, I'm not firstborning. You disown that title.
You're giving away your birthright.
You're,
Let's
no.
normalize it. Si lazima. If you don't want to give me sijui what shamba where, it's fine. I'll get my own for my own kids. You know, one thing that I really struggled with my ex is that he couldn't say no to his parent.
And that's a lot of men.
He couldn't say no. I'm like, why can't you
Especially
say
firstborns.
you have a newborn? Why can't you say no? Maybe on the other hand, nowadays may say no and I'm frowned upon and I'm told the way. I'm so disrespectful because I've told him the truth. I've told my dad the truth of the matter. You need to do this. You're not being a good dad.
Yeah. Firstborns need to realize takers have no limits. That one they have to. They will take. Your parents could be the takers. Your siblings could be the takers. Because of your trauma now, the people around you, workmates,
also be
friends, they'll
takers.
also take advantage and just leech on you. Be very keen and aware of your traumas, especially as a firstborn. If you are used to service, you will serve the world. And in your there's this story, I don't remember I don't know if you guys ever saw it. There's this story of a woman who she was known for a very good heart, a beautiful heart, and then she died, and the person who was now narrating this story was like, at her funeral, a lot of people talked and they were like, oh, Agie was such a good person. They did this and they did that. And no one, and if anyone was asked, including her husband and her kids, what did your mother like? They can't say.
I had
what personality?
Yeah, did she have?
Yes. What sorts of colors did she? You didn't know anything about this person. You only knew what they did or what they've done for you.
I remember us
it
having
was
that
sad.
conversation.
That is very sad.
When
Even
I was
this-
telling you, sorry.
No, just proceed.
Oh, when I was telling you when my mom passed away and everyone was like, your mom was like this, your mom was like this. Up to date, when I post, I get like lots of messages on her anniversary. And you asked me a very big question and I wasn't able to answer. You were like, people are here, they could, if you go and ask those people your mom's personality, like, how was she? What was it? They can't answer.
What was her favorite food?
They can't. You ask, I don't know.
Where did she grow up? In which town did she grow up? Like just basic things you'd think you'd know about someone you loved.
They wouldn't.
Yeah.
They wouldn't. I would like you to have an episode on our parents are baby boomers. Please, because
Baby boomers
you've
and
said something
Gen Xers.
about takers. They're always taking. And the reason why we are raising our kids differently is because we've come to realize the trauma that our parents gave us.
Yes.
And that trauma is because of them. Kuna venye tu wako. There's a way that generation just
They didn't also know better.
they gave us so much trauma, and now if you call out your parent on their bullshit, you're disrespectful. They pretend not to remember the shit that they did. So can you have an episode
Hapo
on baby
umekanyaga
boomers?
waya.
You call me to it, please. Yes, we need one.
I'll need to find first baby boomers who can come on a podcast without
Without
it being politics because they feel like they need to lecture everyone.
Yeah, they're always dishing advice even if they didn't
And
ask.
they feel like everything needs to lead to, what is it called, productivity. This podcast that you're shooting, what is it gaining? What are we gaining from it? Baby boomers, by the way, it's okay.
Tutaweka kwa maombi. But as I was saying, there's this person who said that before you in whatever relationships you have, whether they are family, romantic, she said it's good to ask these people who you love or who claim to love you what they know about you or what they like about you. And if they sit there and describe a slave, then just know they don't give a damn. They actually are they're there because of the benefits that you're giving them.
Yeah.
And it's not even this thing for you. Have you seen these people who are this guy wanted to find a wife, and because he was so wealthy, he went and pretended to be a poor man. Me, if you try that shit with me, best believe, get out. Get out. You know, that thing for TCG, you had to put someone through a test to see if they're your friend.
It's bullshit.
And if I date you while you're poor and I find out you're wealthy, I will steal everything and I will leave you. Because what nonsense is this? You also need a lesson.
It's giving Afro cinema.
It's giving Afro Nigerian movies.
It's giving those two Bollywood movies of weirdness.
Yeah.
So just know these people who are around you. Do they love you for who you are, or is it the convenience that you bring to their lives? Because there are people who, the minute you cannot give them that convenience, they will vamoose. They will delete themselves from thy presence. So
there's something you've said. It will be is my parting shot, I guess. If tables were turned, if it was flipped the other way, the people you're doing all these things for would not do it for you. If someone texted you right now and said, send me 2K urgently, first of all, if it were you who needed the 2K urgently, they would not see that text ever. And also the other thing is that if you don't send that 2K urgently, no one dies. Tomorrow you'll wake up and you'll find whatever was needed to be done with the 2K was done.
Or even it didn't even need to be done. It wasn't even an emergency.
Yeah. I like that meme. I like that meme for it. When someone borrows me money and they're like, I need money. I need that money urgently. I'll return it by Friday evening. And you tell, just wait for Friday evening and use your own money.
Yes. Because when it gets to that Friday and you're asking for that money back, it seems like you're begging. Trauma with money. Have you done an episode with money?
No, we've not done for this season. We'll do. It's still there.
Me, actually, I lend people money that I don't have a problem losing. Because the last time I gave somebody money, hiyo pesa inaniuma mpaka wa leo.
Pesa inaniuma mahali.
So nitakupatia tu, nitakwambia you need 2K. Me, I have 500 bob.
Yeah. What is banking and what does not feel?
Shika hii 500 na hata sitabother, sitafuatana na wewe.
Yeah.
If I do not have the capacity mentally, emotionally, financially to give you, I'll tell you soon.
Usiende kukopa pesa ndo upatie mtu.
Even in the sense of giving what you can lose, I got to a point where I just stopped giving completely because I realized there are people who have a roster.
Yes.
So it doesn't matter. I'll ask you for 2K, but it doesn't matter. I've already considered it. I have insurance. If Shiko sends me 500, I still have texted Agie, Olive. So you have...
ukiweka kwa WhatsApp group watasema, we, hata mimi nilimtumia 200 hakurudisha.
So you realize you're also on a roster. So these days I'm just like, if you ask me, sometimes someone will ask you for something like 500. You're like, what is this 500 that is going? What is this? You mean my 500 will change your life? Let me see if I don't send it. We see. Because sometimes the money being asked for doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't.
And sometimes they come with a lot of entitlement that makes you wonder, what impression have I created on this person that they feel they're entitled to my hard-earned money? Because me, in venye niko, I wouldn't do that. And even if I urgently needed it, I wouldn't make it look like lazima unipatie. I'd be very humble about it and ask you kindly, can you just, but mtu anakuja, mi ukishaniambia urgently. Urgently we ni nani?
Maybe it's the same way.
Hey, you need to work urgently.
Nurses are attracting potato couches. It's the same way you, with your good values, you're attracting people who'll take advantage of it.
Yeah.
I got tired.
Me urgently. I feel like you can actually, if you need, just say you need 2K. So you urgently. It comes off as entitled and rude as fuck.
True.
And also just like there's etiquette. Anyway, we'll do money on
Financial
it.
etiquette.
We'll do
When
etiquette.
people's money. Unasema nitarudisha
wenginenyu
4 years
ubadhirifu hiyo ni mko tu na ubadhirifu na ukosefu wa taadhima.
Mko na tabia mbaya huku nje.
Itoshe guys, let's not get into money because firstborns are out here minting money. Not people are minting firstborns money. Hey.
Eriao.
Anyway.
Shosho amemeza wembe.
Alikuwa anafanya nayo nini? Jamani.
Na wewe si mama yangu ndio nimtumie pesa.
Yeah.
Hata angekuwa mama yako. She should have known better. Si walikuwa nasema mtoto akililia wembe. You should have known better than to not play with. At this your big age. Unacheza na wembe. Why? Unaiweka kwa mdomo, inakaribia mdomo.
You people just be what is it? Be firm. If someone calls you and asks you, "Oh, mommy has mezad wembe, please send 2K." Just sit down and tell them, "I'd like you to find a seat." Now, what was she doing with the wembe? How did this situation happen?
Kwa umakini na
What
kinagaubaga. Kinagaubaga.
What situation is she? Patia wembe simu.
Alieleza alikuwa anafanya nini karibu na mdomo yake. Alikuwa what did wembe want?
Ilikuwa kinaendelea.
Hey guys. Itoshe. Give me your parting shots, we close. You want to go first?
Me, I'd say as a firstborn, just have self-awareness. I think self-awareness is the beginning of all great things. So once you have self-awareness, you'll be able to realize some of these things that you do are probably trauma responses. You'll be able to realize how to handle things. And myself, I've even put it on myself. I intend to go for therapy, not just general, because I feel like some even of the responses I've had in other facets of my life, in my job, in my relationships, have been tied to these traumas of being a firstborn or being this goody two shoes who was told, if you do right, good things will come to you. No, there are wicked people out here. I was just saying that yesterday. There are wicked people out here. They don't care if you're a good or a bad person. They will show you shakara. They will do you shege. Yeah? Anyway, that's my parting shot.
Thank you.
Mine will be 2 things. One, all firstborns. I just realized all millennial firstborns.
Yes.
Of baby boomers' parents and all Gen Zs of old millennial parents. We need to go for therapy. I just discovered that right now when we started that firstborns need therapy. And 2, as a millennial parent, I'll just tell you, don't raise these kids the way our parents raised us.
Yes.
But the same thing that lady said, treat each kid differently.
Yeah.
Learn from the traumas that your parents give you, and just raise them with so much grace. And a child has no responsibility taking care of another child. Let the child be
a child.
Let them be. That's all.
Hey, you've guzad on that part where she said treat every child like the only child.
Yes, very important.
Hiyo tumeanda.
That last one, I'll publish it. Hey, you are so wholesome. You are very wholesome.
we are learning from the traumas our parents gave us.
Yeah. But again, me as usual, I'll definitely shout out millennial and Gen Z part. Honestly, I see you guys raising your kids. Hey,
it's
a beauty.
It's a wow.
It's a wow. It's lovely. And I'm just sending out a lot of love to firstborns. I know it's a lot of times, not a lot of times, recently is when I found myself holding back when firstborns are talking, because I feel like me also there, like even me, it almost feels like me, like it's almost invalidating their experience. Like it didn't happen to you because you're a firstborn, it happened to us as well. So that's why I don't want to relate my experience to firstborns. I'm sending out so much love. I understand what it is you're going through. sometimes sometimes people who are very mean people and they are firstborns. So I'm also thinking in my head, should I have extended them grace? Should I have thought maybe what's their perspective? Maybe I'll just think about it. But they've also hurt me before, so we'll just figure out that balance. But for now, that brings us to the end of another episode of the In All Honesty podcast. I am so grateful to my friends and guests. I don't know how I could repay you, but you felt wholesome today. It's a good conversation.
This is a beautiful space you've created.
It's very beautiful. You may feel trauma kidogo.
Thank you. I'm so grateful for you coming. And until next week, bye.
Bye.
Next on the In All Honesty podcast.
So the world genuinely believes that you're the ones who are privileged. You're the ones who've had the better experience. Lastborns, please come forward and say your side of the story. Because only recently did I realize while talking to lastborns that they too have traumas. But we've always felt like lastborns, you were liked better. You were given money. You were supported. You were given the chance to be yourselves. Even firstborns worked hard so that they could take care of you. So I'd really like to understand what traumas, what challenges lastborns have gone through. Let's just talk about it, because I also feel like a lot of times you get shadowed because people feel like of course, you've had the better experience. Of course, you don't have traumas. How do you have traumas in the way you are so confident? So I also have my reservations about lastborns who say that they've struggled. So I'd like us to just talk about it. And you can tell me your stories. What are some of the things that you experienced growing up and even now are basically still affecting your life? Is being a lastborn change your trajectory of your life? Are there things in your life that you feel I'm doing like this because I'm a lastborn and it's affecting the different aspects of my life? Like you'd see if you refer to the firstborn episode, there's so many situations where you realize the way you do things at work, the way you do things with your friends is because of the initial you being a firstborn or a lastborn or being whatever number in your family. So let's talk about it. Lastborns, please talk to me. Feel free to reach out to me if you want to come on the episode and share your experiences. But meanwhile, you can always talk to me through my DMs at OLAVEORAWO and through my email at olaveorawo@gmail.com. Bye.
Do you hear that? Would you lend me some coins, please? The In All Honesty podcast needs you to continue running. I will deeply appreciate support from you. You can send monetary contributions to my Mpesa +254 728 171 059 via PayPal at OLAVEORAWO. That is OLAVEORAWO. You can support the podcast indirectly by buying merchandise and services I offer listed on my WhatsApp catalog. My WhatsApp number is +254 728 171 059. Did you think I'd forget? Advertise with the In All Honesty podcast. Hit me up to talk about it. You can do that via WhatsApp +254 728 171 059 or via email olaveorawo@gmail.com, or you can also DM me on socials at olaveorawo. You know, the hand that gives will receive an episode every week. I'm not where I want to be, but I'm in what was once a dream. So if I do some quick math, the future equals a dream come true. Since 1992, In All Honesty, a podcast by OLAVEORAWO.